Welcome, my friends, here to Pax Europiana, the podcast about peace and prosperity in Europe, here from Skopje, the capital of a NATO member state of North Macedonia. It's wonderful evening atmosphere. It's Friday night. The sun is shining. It was a wonderful day. In the beginning, a bit cloudy, but now it's very, very beautiful evening, and the weekend will be very nice. I'm confident. And look how beautiful is the old stone bridge. And there is good news on the world stage, and I want to support Ukraine's NATO membership. And I want to discuss what we can learn from Macedonia, what we can do for Ukraine. It's very important at this moment in the middle of the war that we support Ukraine with Austrian tanks. No to Austrian neutrality, yes to Austrian tanks for Ukraine, yes to German tanks. And the 2,000 Leopards must go to Ukraine at this moment. And I call Germany and all European allies and the US to support Ukraine's NATO membership. Obviously, Ukraine complete liberation will be not possible militarily at the moment, so we have to liberate as much as possible. That means Kherson, Mariupol, of course Melitopol and other regions, especially Oblast of Zaporizhzhia and Kherson, and as much as possible from the Oblast of Donetsk and Lugansk, and then to basically call it a draw and integrate and stabilize the cold conflict in the new Cold War with Ukraine's NATO membership. And yes, Russia will not like it, but Russia has lost the military confrontation. We lose it, I think, completely. And of course, they have resources to continue, but we can settle this conflict with NATO membership, and that's the way. And of course, with the euro as currency for Ukraine. And if you don't believe me, study history. Study the history of how we solved the Balkan conflicts in the 90s. And especially relevant for Ukraine is, of course, the Western German NATO accession of 55 and the currency reform of 1948, which I have mentioned so often already in my podcast, and all my listeners know that. That's basically the way to end the war, to win it also, and also to liberate Ukraine with political and economic means long term, but in the short term to stabilize the security of Eastern Europe, to contain Russia. I'm sure Russia will fall. I made now many tweets. Russia will break up as a result of these measures, not short term, but medium term, and that's also very good. The Russian people and the many people which live in Russia, these hundreds of people of these ethnic groups, religious groups, they will be liberated, they will be free, and that will be very good. I call again for the breakup of Russia in 34 new states, similar to the breakup of Yugoslavia and the Soviet Union, the Austrian-Hungarian Empire and the Empire of the Ottoman Turks. It has to be broken up, the last remnants of the Romanov Empire, and that's very good. It will be complicated, but the better we somehow prepare that ideologically and logically in telling the West and the free world to recognize exactly 34 countries, the easier it will be. And of course there will be war, bloodshed and disaster, but that's normally going ahead with the fall of terrible terrorist empires like Russia has turned into, and it's better for the people. There will be a lot of more freedom, and it will usher in 30 new successful years of the free world, the process of ending Russia. And no, don't worry about the nuclear war. There, as I always say, the American nukes work, the Russian nukes work exactly as well as their tanks work, and as the airplanes work, and as artillery works on the technology of 1980s. And the claim that they have updated anything is absolutely not credible. But, you know, of course, nobody wants nuclear war. It will not happen because the ultimate end of it, Russia, would be then not just the end in the form of breakup, but of the complete annihilation of the Russian territory. And of course, nobody wants that, but if they would choose it, and they know exactly that that would be the consequences. Good or not so good, of course, it's difficult to discuss nuclear end of the world, at least of the Russian world, but we hope that this will not happen. More relevant is how we win it, and of course we need to win it economically. Here again we need to learn from the Balkan Wars how we did it, but also from the COVID. This is the most relevant example, how Europe has won economic war in which we are now. That time it was against the virus, by unity and by common debt. And this is what we need to do again. We need to issue common debt. This time the double of the COVID volume of 750. We have to add it to 1.5 trillion. And we have this time to focus on Eastern Europe, to arm Ukraine, arm Europe, but not 100 million for German weapons, which never will be used, 200 billion for German energy consumers, but for European energy consumers. All together we have to make a big package for these attached items of integrating Ukraine in NATO and in the EU, to winning the war in Ukraine, to providing weapons for Ukraine, softening jointly the energy shock of Russia's war against Europe. It's an energy war against us, absolutely. Everybody has understood that now after the Nord Stream 2 sabotage by Russia, and also the sabotage of the Austrian OMV and many future attacks and present attacks against the Ukrainian energy infrastructure. So we need the money to fight that, and we will have to take that risk on together and the costs for it. Yeah? And then obviously we have the integration costs of the Balkans, here of Macedonia, the three countries who are NATO allies. They can be very, very fast in the EU already, Albania, Montenegro and North Macedonia. And then the Euroization of the whole Balkans, that's not so costly because it's anyhow mostly reality. They are all backed to the euro or following so closely. The transition will cost something, but we can easily carry that cost together in the big package. And then we obviously have the rearmament cost of Europe, we have the energy costs, we have also some countries like Italy and the South, they have debt problems. We can unify this debt, and we can also, by unifying the state energy companies, obviously, that's very important, that we basically European-wide nationalize the energy companies, nationalize the debt of these companies, and to do that together, that's the logic of the coming and the tasks of the coming years ahead. Yes, what I have said, the integration and the infrastructure for Eastern Europe, the railways we need for the Black Sea region, the highways towards Ukraine and the Balkans, all and the railways. Then we have the rearmament needs, the European nuclear defense, that's also needed, the energy transition towards solar and wind, which is required, the net infrastructure, yes, and many other things. I think I made a list, you'll see it on my Twitter profile, all the 10 issues which we need with this 1.5 trillion. Of course, most of all short term, the energy shock and the integration of Ukraine in the EU, Moldova, Georgia and Macedonia, everybody but Serbia, which must be isolated as a Russian asset. Yes, that is the most important, and this economic package, this debt package must be still this year to show Russia they cannot win, and of course together with the Ukraine's NATO integration. And I applaud Mr. Zelensky, who today made the application towards NATO for Ukraine. Austria should also join. Yeah, I think it's logical. I will work very much on that in the coming weeks and days, and it will come, I have no doubt in my heart. Malta, Ireland, Cyprus, Kosovo, Bosnia, Moldova, Georgia, united in the NATO of 42 countries. And even when in Austria they don't want to believe, but you know, they didn't want to have Ukraine in the EU and it will come, and they didn't want a EU candidate status. Schallenberg is a Russian asset, let's not forget. Karl Nehammer doesn't know what he's doing, and the socialists are always with Russia, and they will pay the price for their total reckless, immoral, anti-solidarity politics, and that is absolutely clear. And also Wolfgang Schüssel, Leitl, and all these people, Schröder, and sadly also Merz has put himself in disgrace. But worst of all is Lindner in Germany, and also Scholz. There's very few good German and Austrian politicians, and it's no wonder that most Eastern European and Balkan people who are with the West, with America, think that Germany and Austria are people reasonable collaborating with Russia, and sadly many of them are, and it's actually very true. Yes, we have to purge European politics, and especially German and Austrian politics, from the friends of Putin, and this will be the debate in the coming years. Good. Ukraine is on the way to NATO, that's very good. Austria is on the way to NATO, and it will definitely join. Malta, Ireland. I mentioned Kosovo, of course. I have no time to visit it this time. Hello, my friends from Kosovo on the other side of the bridge. I will come in the future. I will visit also Albania and also this beautiful country of Montenegro. The three countries are now my focus in this visit, in these days in beginning of October, because they are all logically united as one package into the EU in 2024. That is very fast, and I will also promote now in many tweets, I hope, after the EU membership and after the NATO application, President Zelensky, hopefully somebody shows him my videos, yeah, and he will join also and adopt the euro in Ukraine, because it's the only logical step now, because the currency is of course in big danger, and economically we have to unite the Ukrainian economy fully with the European economy, and please adopt 10% of flat tax in Ukraine as well. Good, I think I covered most of the topics. I want to thank you very much, and wherever you are, support the fast-track integration of North Macedonia, Albania and Montenegro in the European Union. If you think that I'm crazy and that's impossible, you are a Russian asset, and shame on you. Weak and faint-hearted Russian asset you are. And I really hope that you have nothing to do in European politics and in the decision making in any of the European countries. And when you are a Russian asset, I will haunt you in your dreams, and I hope that you will be out of power. And I hope that we will very carefully only elect pro-European, pro-Balkan, pro-Ukrainian, pro-American politicians in the European politics in the future. And I call all the Europeans to support European integration of Ukraine and Macedonia, Kosovo, Bosnia, and Montenegro, Albania into NATO, EU and the Euro, and also to unite our energy systems, our debt system, our economies as an answer to the Russian war, and to be really very successful together with our friends in the free world, with America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, to open the trading system to America, ratify Mercosur, the agreements with North and South America, with Australia, and of course with the Gulf states and with ASEAN, and that Mrs. Ursula will be re-elected, Ursula von der Leyen, and for a successful term after fulfilling this agenda of unification and openness. And that is my wish, and I hope it will happen, and I'm confident we will win this war and win this confrontation and unite Europe and the West much better than in the last years. Thanks a lot, looking forward. Best regards from beautiful Skopje, and visit this beautiful place, it's amazing. Bye.